would like to welcome you to this second webinar on reporting clinical trials in Utracity. The focus of this webinar, as you know, is on posting trial results for trials that were completed before July 2013 and on trials that stopped early and not according to protocol. I would now to share my screen. Okay, now it's working. Yeah, here you can see again the program for today. First of all, I will give you an introduction and in the background of today's content. Unfortunately, Britta Lang cannot be here today, and so I will guide you through the program. As you already know, the topic of today's webinar is trials that were completed early, and concerning this issue, I will also give you some background about the copyright issues you have to consider when you want to post results for those trials. Then in the first part, Dr. Kerstin Bollweg from the Charité in Berlin will give us a demonstration on how to upload the results and will give us several useful tips and tricks. In the second part, we will have a Q&A session, and I hope enough time for discussion and answering your special questions. And yeah, we would like to ask you to write your questions in the chat. We will copy them to a slide that is already prepared, and then we will answer the questions one after the other. Yes, and we have noticed that many of you also participated in the first webinar in November last year, and this topic on that webinar was uploading clinical trials on Utracity, and there you got an overview and general aspects on reporting results in Utracity via the full text version. And we also heard about two different modalities for posting trial results via Utracity web interface. Yeah, when you go to the website of the EMA, you can see this. On this left side, there are many interesting information and training materials about posting results on Utracity. For example, here you can find the login page for posting the results. And here is a tutorial on posting results. And here under point 4, there is information about those two modalities. Also the full data set, all of you know, I guess, for all trials that are completed according to protocol and after July of 2030, you have to enter the full data set in the system. And for all other trials, a summary attachment is possible. That seems to be much easier than the full text set, but there are a few pitfalls that you have to consider when posting those summary attachments. Yeah, here I can show you for example, yeah. Just for your information, I just log here in my account. So, oh, sorry, again. Okay, and now I go in one of my postings, and then you can see under the option summary attachments, it is pointed out that attachments uploaded using this feature should be a copy, but authorized by the copyright holder of a medical journal article. So this means you cannot just upload the PDF, for example, of an already published journal articles where the results are reported. You need to consider these copyright issues. And this issue is very complex because it differs between countries, between institute licenses. There are many aspects that you have to consider. So I would like to share a platform with you, Sherpa Romeo. This is a web source where you can find the different copyrights and different legal issues for publishers, for example, or per journal. Just to show you how it works, I take Wiley as example, and then you can choose one of the publishers. And under publications, you can see the journals who are published by this publisher. I take, for example, the first. And on this side, you can see the different versions. And for each version, the different copyright and legal issues. You can see between the submitted version, accepted version, and public versions, there are great differences. Here under the plus, the icons are described. Here you can see if there is any fee, any open access fee, if there is an embargo for publishing, how the license is, who is the copyright owner, and this is interesting for us, which sources are allowed where the published article can be stored. So here you can see any repository, any website, journal website. But this differs between journal and between publishers. So we would recommend not just to even consider uploading a PDF into Utracity, just write your own summary file, attach this summary file together with the citation information and the digital objective identifier and, for example, the link to the PDF, but not the original article, so that you will not have copyright problems. Okay. Yes, and good. Then if you don't have any, one moment. So, good. That's from me. Now I would like to hand over to Ms. Bollweg. She is coordinator of the data management and the Charité in Berlin, and I guess she will introduce herself now. Yes, Ms. Bollweg, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much. And now, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to welcome you all to our webinar and thank you to all for coming today. Let me short introduce myself. My name is Kerstin Bollweg and I'm responsible for supporting our researchers at Charité to upload summary results in Utracity since 2020. Before I have joined the team clinical trial office of CSC, I worked as project and quality manager in the clinical research unit of BIH and at the Center of Stroke Research from Berlin. And And in that time, I also organized CCP refresher courses and for colleagues and for other teams. And today, I would like to use my time to tell you about my practical experience about today's topics, and how Ms. Blumel said, our focus will be to early terminated trials and trials completed before 21st July 2013. And now let's take a look at my topics. I share. Can you see me? Can you know? Sorry. Can you see it? Okay, I hope you can see it now. Moment.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the first slide. The next slide. So, now about my topics. The first, the second, and the fifth question are of particular interest to those of you who hold a similar job right to mine, or you are a study coordinator and responsible for more than one clinical trial at your department. The topic 3 and 4 are more practice-oriented. Here I will show you on the result user web portal how to upload different PDF documents, and also show you a solution option for one feature group of inconsistent data. By the end of my presentation, you will be familiar with identifying relevant trials and contact persons to prepare and upload different PDF documents. And finally, you have an idea how to deal with inconsistent data. I think you all of you know and use the trials tracker as a working tool to follow up the reporting rate of due to trials by your sponsor. When I started in the clinical trial office at Charité in August 2020, I had a difficult starting position. I had no previous experience in using the Utracity database, and our reporting rate of clinical trials was very low. You can see it was for a 0.1%. So there was a need for a quick action. Within 17 months, I have succeeded to improve our reporting rate up to 76.2. And the question is, how did it work? You can see here the development in this both pictures about or over the last 17 months. The number of all clinical trials increased about 9. Here's from 196 to 205. And I'd like you to focus our attention to these 3 bars standing in the middle. They're standing for the categories of trials tracker, due to, not due, and inconsistent data. As you can see, the number of due trials increased from 73 to 130, and at the same time, the part of not due trials and inconsistent data here are markedly decreased. What conclusion can we draw from this? I found a large proportion of older and early terminated trials in these 2 categories, and these directly these leads directly to my first topic. How to identify all relevant trials at my institution. Besides the 3 main categories, we find even more detailed feature groups. Following feature groups contain, in any case, the trials we want to talk about today. It's not reported with the deadline of the 2030, not reported terminated, and in the category inconsistent data, it is listed as ongoing, but has also a completion date with the deadline, and also completed but no date terminated. To find the hiding old studies, we need to take a closer look at the feature groups ongoing, except other, and completed but no date. The next step was to narrow the search circle to the studies that were registered in Utracity between 2004 and 2011. After that, I tried to answer the following 4 questions. When has this clinical trial been started? What was the planned duration of the trial? Who is the investigator, or in which department the trial has been conducted? Or are there publications with similar titles, keywords, and authors affiliated to your institution in past or now? On the next slide, we can see where I got the information. Brightness. Oh, sorry. No, sorry. We can see where I got the information to answer these questions. I started with my search in various registries, beginning with the clinical trials register. Depending on the topic, you can also use other national or international study registries, cancer registry, clinical trials, GAF, or ICTRP of WHO, or other national registry with public access. As search terms can be used the Utracity number, the name of the test medical product used, or the study type, or disease of patients, or the full title of the trials, all possible. Another option is to use the National Drug Information System. In Germany, the drug information system is called Pharmnet-Bundportal. The clinical study reports for EMG studies are also uploaded in this portal and made available to the public. If I did not find the sponsor representatives in other study or other study context information here in these registries or in the drug information system, I continued my research on my organization's intranet. Using the title of the study, I searched for research group working on similar topics, and then I contacted the head of the research group or the department head. If everything doesn't work out, you can also try contacting the ethics committee at your institution that gave a positive vote for the study, or you can contact the national competent, the relevant national competent authority, and ask who the principal investigator was. So now I would like to illustrate the proposed 3-step procedure with 2 selected examples. Let's open the EU trials tracker. I take, the Hannover Medical School as a sponsor.
We still see your slide, not the browser.
Ach so, okay. And what can I do? So, teilen,
yeah.
ne? Muss ich teilen, anders How can I use it?
I think you have first to stop the sharing the screen and then share it again. Or if you shared.
Yeah, okay. Teilen. Now you can see?
No. Yes, now.
Okay. Now you can see I have opened the EU trial tracker. I think you know all these screen. And now I have chosen the Medical Hanover School for this example, and I select not due because we were looking in the ongoing studies, and then I sort it in ascending order. And now we can find 1, 2, 3, 4 examples for these studies that are maybe early ended or completed before 2013. Oh, sorry. Okay. Now I click on the first option. We can see, okay, it was registered in 2004, but we can see it started 1 year later. It is 2005. Now we go to trial protocol, and I click population trial subject. only 15 subjects were planned, and the duration was 1 year. So according to this information, the study should have ended in 2006 or 2007, and it's definitely an old study. So next we try to find the publication. I copy the title. So, so ResearchNet, I prefer PubNet, maybe is that no, it's not the right. That's okay. Text of single 2009, it's maybe okay. Then I see some authors, but I don't know where they are working. That's why I choose PubMed. There's an affiliation of the authors, and I can expand it. And then I see, okay, these authors work for Clinic for Psychiatry in Hanover Medical School, Hanover. That means I have found the PIs or people contact with the study. And now the big question is how is the access? And I see it is by Thieme Verlag, and Thieme Verlag, maybe it is the owner of the copyright, and that means you can't use it. It's also an abstract and some information about it, about this trial you can find here, but not the full article can use. So that was the first example, and then I have a second one. I copy it. So we go back to clinical trial. We can also go about EU trial tracker, but I make it a little bit shorter. It is the second example, and then you can see Medical Hochschule Hannover. We can see it was registered in 2008, but 3 years later was the start. The study started, and then how was the duration? 120 patients were planned or subjects, and the duration was 6 years. So at first glance, the study would fall out of our desired time frame, but maybe the trial has been terminated early. We don't know it. That's why we want to have a deeper look in PharmNet Bund portal. I open. Can you see it? Okay. This is the drug information system, you remember, and accept. And yes. and I choose Utracity number. So, and go, and we can find this study. Behind the title here is a number, the 6-digit number, and this is a reference number for the national competent authority. It's very important if you want to correspond with authorities, then you have to use this number. So we select this, and then we can see the status of the study. So, and here Stand der Studie, it's really early terminated in 2020. So that means you can use the simplified reporting and uploading a PDF for this study. It's not full data set essential. But what we can see is who is the PI. Only the sponsor is mentioned, but not the PI. So the next I start open a new. I will look in clinical trial stuff. Trial stuff. And now we searched, what was the title? I copy a keyword from the study, polyamora virus, country is Germany. Yeah. And the city is Hanover. Okay, and then I searched, and what can we see? And we can see here is Hanover mentioned. Status is unknown. And then we can find, okay, it's the same title. And if you see below, you can see the contact dates here. Now we find contact. The PI of Hanover was Anke Schwarz, Professor Anke Schwarz and Professor Hermann Haller. So that is a result what we want. And now I close all. I close it all, I think so. Now we come back. Okay, jetzt muss ich Teilbild freigeben. Okay. Come back to our, can you see now the? Okay. The next. The next is how to successfully contact researcher, my next topics. We have used all sources of information, and as a result, we have received a contact email address or a phone number or both, and now comes the first contact. You should always write business emails in a polite manner, but your tone can be more or less formal. If you want your email to receive the attention it deserves, you need to write an appropriate subject line, short and clear. And in the email body, try to be as specific as possible about what information you need. It may also be a good idea to briefly explain why you need the information and combine this with the request for action. If there's a date or important action you want the reader to remember, it's a good idea to repeat it at the end on the email, just before your friendly closing sentences. So keep in mind that only a limited number of characters will appear on the screen when your recipient looks at his or her inbox. This is especially important if the recipient is checking emails on mobile phone. you know, on the mobile phone, only the first 2 sentences and the subject line I usually read. And so this means that it is very important to try and summarize the main point of your message in a few words as possible. Also include a deadline or a specific date in the subject line. Here is an example for the subject line. It is also advisable to respond promptly to inquiries or queries. If too much time passes between contacts, the activity and willingness to participate is increasingly reduced. I think your contacts work successfully if you have received a study report or a publication, or the information the study has included only 5% and has early terminated, or perhaps the trial has never started. That is the result of your contacts. So in the next slide, we go to my next topic, how to specifically, I do upload papers from the affected studies. A summary attachment should be a clinical study report synopsis, an accepted manuscript with open access, or documents called link to publication or preended statement, for instance. The system allows different types of formats, PDF, doc, XLS, JPEG, and so on, but I prefer the PDF format. You can publish a final study report without problems as summary result in Utracity, but my experience in the past was that final reports were not always written, but the results were published in one or more journals. Here you must first look closely at the agreed and licensed copyrights with the publisher. You have heard by Mrs. Blümle. Link to publication and the preended statement are the documents created on the basis of a template with defined contents. I will come back to these templates a few slides later. So, accepted manuscripts. What to consider when uploading an accepted manuscript? I have briefly compiled Oxford Press response to my inquiry with the most important aspects. The first was, request is a 12-month embargo period. The second, the use is also only allowed for non-commercial purpose or for their own institutional repository or website. And when uploading the manuscript, you have to include a pub link. And you can see below a formulation guide with the necessary details what you have used. In the next slide, you can see an example for an online request of mine. If you want to use a publication for uploading, you must first check whether the full article is available. You remember in the example, as I shown, there wasn't a full article available, and whether it is a free or open access article. In some cases, access is restricted. In that case, you must request permission from the publisher Copyright Clearance Center via write links. And when you click the request permission button, a pop-up window opens asking you to provide some information. And you can see here 2 screenshots of my order request from Kaga and Elsevier. And the Kaga publishing house, for example, limits the duration of use on the website to 12 months, but the use is free. And the publisher Elsevier doesn't not restrict the duration, but charged a fee of about 112 euros. That is a result of my request online order. So, and now we can see an example for an open access publisher +1. This open access art can be used directly for uploading. There are no problems. You can see here the authors are the owner of the copyright, and here are nothing unrestricted. In the next, you can see an example of my template. We have often used our template with this content structure if the terms of use for articles were restricted. And here I have an example I will upload together with you directly. In the example, the article with limited user rights has already been attached by the PI, but is not yet posted. And now I will remove it directly live with you and add a new document, my template that I have already prepared in advance. So we open, can you see it? Okay. I log in.
Well, we cannot see the browser, only your slide.
Ach so, okay. Moment.
Same procedure.
Stoppen? Nee, stoppen, ne? Okay. Ja. Okay. Freigeben. Wo habe ich hier? So. Now. Okay. I think you can see it now. Genau. On the web result side of Utracity, I have logged in. Here all my trials, and now I search number 2010. Yes, that is it. Okay, I open it, and now we can see here is already a manuscript added, and I show you why I remove it. You can see all copyrights are by the British Pharmacological Society. That's why it's not possible to upload this. How can I get back here? No. Okay, this was the same procedure. Sorry. Where is my Utracity? No. It's closed. Strange. Okay, I open it. Website. Stoppen. Teilen. It's it now here. So we are back. So I show you it. I log in. It was on the second page. And okay, it did. So at first I delete, I confirm it, and then attach a new summary. It's on my webinar. I prepared it before. So, and I link to portal, and only I changed the number. 0212.92 and attach it. The next, it's very important, save. Never forget save, and then you post it. So include the full data, do not. I make here, click proceed. Then has this clinical trial ended prematurely? No, it's not. Next. It's only for pediatric investigation plan? No. Next. Also, the relation only for pediatric trials, no. Next. And that's the same procedure, no. Next. And then you have to ready the end of trial date. It was 31, 2013. March. And on 31. So, okay, all correct. Next. Then I control it. Yes, next. And now, last but not least, I accept the terms of this agreement and post. And now, last, I say okay, that it also published for our authority. And now it closed. It is now posted, and we can see it in the view posted and final results. And now we can see what is in the right correction. Moment. 70 February we posted it, and about 2 weeks then the status changed to finalized. When it finalized, you can see there are no edit is possible. Then you can only, if you want to change something or edit something, then you can make it an update, but you can't delete it something. You can only update it and make an inform about the reason why you updated. So that was the first. Now I go back and I stop, and we come back to my presentation. So, okay, this was first example to upload a template with link to publication. And in the next, you can see an example for a template pre-ended statement with the content structure. And on the right side, I have shown what possible reasons could be given to the statement. Maybe insufficient recruitment or ethic reason, financial reason. There are many reasons possible. And if there are some results, partly results, then I edit it and as an abstract or some tables, or if they are published, then I add the public and the DOI dual link as an information to find more details about the results of the study. So how to upload the papers is I prefer to upload in the simple way. I prefer to upload a PDF document, but there's also the possibility to enter this information into the full data set. For this, I would like to show you briefly 2 examples of an English sponsor. For example, University College London. Here's an example with 5 patients included. The 3 categories: trial information, subject disposition, and more information were filled in as usual. If you filled in the full data set, nothing was entered in the baseline category. And in the endpoint categories where primary and secondary endpoint must be added, is only the primary endpoint added, as this is mandatory, and this is corresponding with some notes. You can see here on the right side, no statistical analysis have been specified is a message of warning, and then you can write as justification only 5 participants were recruited to the study, no analysis was carried out, trial was terminated early due to problems with recruitment. And this can you in every point repeat, and so it is accepted and comes through the validate rules. And the same is for adverse events. Also with this notes, you can see it's the same sentences. And another example of a full data set for a study that has never started can be found below. It's here, 2015 beginning Utracity number from King's College London. You can find this example in the clinical trials stuff. You can only click, search, and then view results. And so you can see how they are reported, these with many nines and yes, and you can orient it for your own study reporting. So the next slide, we come to my next topic, how to deal with inconsistent data. Here I have compiled the 3 essential types of inconsistent data and marked them in red. For the first feature group, the study was deregistered, also completed but no date, terminated and reported results. Also in this combination it occurs. The problem is that the end date is not visible in the database. That's why I mark it in red, but no date. I will show you how to fix this problem in the next slide. The second feature group, listed as ongoing but also has a completion date, contains multinational studies where some participating member states failed to deregister the study with their national authorities. I am currently working on such a case where the study was early terminated in Germany, but the deregistration in Spain by the Spanish partner was not done in time. And first I tried to deregister for Spain with the EMPS, this is the authority in Spain, from Germany, but this was not possible. And the deregistration must necessarily be done locally in one owned country. Finally, after several emails with different contacts in Spain, I was able to identify the responsible study director in Spain. And with the support of an employee of the ethics committee of the university hospital, there it was possible to data mine the necessary access, password and reference number to deregister the study nationally and globally. Last not least, no trial status on register occurs only once at Charité. Here the start date was missing and there was no positive vote of the ethics committee for this study. So now we come to the solution, how to fix this problem with the feature group completed but no date. The end date of a study is entered into the EudraCT database by the NCA staff based on the submitted end of trial form. Thanks to a very good cooperation with our authority, BayFarm, it has been possible to find out why some cases the end date is not visible. In an older version of EuT form, only the global end or a premature end is requested. You can see it, here's a screenshot from an older version, declaration end of trial. There are only these both questions are. In the new version of EuT form, the local national end of trial is also requested. There are also 3 questions. And the EU database corresponds with the structure of the new version of the EuT. However, both dates are required in EU database, and if nothing is entered in this field, in this national date field, no end date is visible in clinical trials gov. What is now the solution? You contact your NCE per email. In Germany is the BayFarm or PI. In the subject line, please make following information, reference number, protocol number, Utracity number, and then search your old or your EOT which was submitted and attached it, or an acknowledgement of receipt of the submitted EOT as an evidence, and then ask for updating the end date in the EU database. It takes only 10 minutes maximum workload for the NCA, and they have only made 2 clicks in the database. There are 2 questions, and both questions have to be answered with yes. And in some cases, so was my experience with the stuff of NCA, was no click made on yes. That was why it's not visible. So this is one solution, and now we come to my last topic. What step can you take on behalf of the researchers? I have requested access rights as a primary user for many studies that were conducted under the sponsorship of Charité, as you have seen in my result user portal. There are primary studies where the PI or study team has already left Charité or went abroad or had died or retired. I have very good experience with requesting the user role primary user for several studies, and then defining the roles as backup user, delegated preparer, and poster for the respective study teams, because it allows me to view the status of the study on the Utracity at any time and provide advisory support if needed. We remember there were some ongoing trials that had already been completed, but no end of trial declaration was provided. With an appropriate power of attorney from the PI, I will take over the deregistration. For these older studies, or also for EudraCT committee or Landesbehörden. And last not least, I create templates for pre-ended statement or link to publication and make it available for our researcher, and sometimes I post it. Yes, so I think that's all for my topics. I have noch a last conclusion sentence. I can only recommend you or them take the opportunity to trials tracker to look at different reporting options in full data set for early terminated trials with different sponsors, Pfizer or University of Leeds, with a very high reporting rate. You will find there the right solution to all your questions if you have enough patience and perseverance. So thank you very much for your attention. And now here